A couple of new champs were crowned this past Friday as Punahou dethroned St. Louis and Seabury avenges their 2024 season shortcomings.
This week on Road to the Ship, presented by Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union, we're recapping the Division 1 and 2 semifinal and championship matchups from the 2025 HHSAA Boys Basketball State Tournament.
Before we get started, we want to take this time to say mahalo to our sponsors: Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union, Young Brothers, Hawaii Pacific Health, Hardware Hawaii, Hawaii Building and Construction Trade Council, and City Mill. Mahalo for supporting our humble show.
In the first semifinal of the night, Hawaii Prep and Aiea battled for a spot in the HHSAA Division II Boys Basketball Championship, with momentum shifting throughout the night at Kaimuki High School. Aiea entered the game riding high after a 76-52 rout of Le Jardin in the first round, while HPA pulled off an upset over number 2 Kauai 59-49 to earn their semifinal spot. HPA found themselves in an early hole, trailing by 11 points in the first half, but steadily chipped away. Sophomore Micah Yamasaki provided the spark, knocking down crucial second-half buckets that swung momentum in HPA's favor. Down the stretch, HPA capitalized at the free throw line, sinking 7 of 8 clutch free throws to seal the win. When the final buzzer sounded, HPA completed the comeback, securing a 61-51 victory and punching their ticket to the Division II State Championship.
In the second semifinal of the night, Seabury Hall and Kohala squared off in a rematch of last year's Division II State Championship game. Seabury Hall had been the most dominant team in Division II all season, finishing a perfect 14-0 in league play to earn the tournament's number 1 overall seed. Kohala, meanwhile, posted a 12-2 record and got a late season boost with the return of star player Layden Koka, who had been part of the Cowboys' last 2 championship runs before spending most of the year at Utah Prep. But Seabury Hall wasn't fazed by Kohala's reinforcement. The Spartans had a star of their own in senior forward Bromo Dorn, who entered the game averaging 27.8 points per contest. After a tight first quarter, Seabury Hall held a 16-14 lead, but the Spartans clamped down defensively in the second, holding Kohala to just 5 points. Meanwhile, Dorn and Sebastian Peterson began to take control. Peterson filled the stat sheet, finishing with 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. The third quarter belonged to Kohala, as Koka and Isaac Salvador LeBron willed the Cowboys back into the game. The duo combined for 41 of Kohala's 49 total points. But in the final period, Seabury Hall showed why they were the top Division II team all season. The Spartans put away down the stretch, getting their revenge on Kohala with a 59-49 victory, punching their ticket to the state championship game for the second year straight.
The stage was set for the Division II State Championship as Seabury Hall and Hawaii Prep Academy faced off with history on the line. Seabury Hall aimed to capture their first ever state title, while Hawaii Prep looked to bring home their second championship and their first since 2014. From the opening tip, the MIL champion Spartans took control, racing out to a 14-3 first quarter lead behind star forward Bromo Dorn, who dominated with a game-high 20 points. HPA fought back in the second quarter, energized by sophomore forwards Vander Eberhardt's alley-oop slam. Eberhard led HPA with 11 points, but Seabury Hall had an answer for every push. Junior guard Sebastian Peterson delivered for Seabury Hall, hitting tough shot after tough shot on his way to 15 points, helping the Spartans hold a 25-13 lead at halftime. In the second half, HPA made their runs, but Dorn remained unstoppable, punctuating his dominant night with a breakaway slam in the third quarter. When the final buzzer sounded, the Seabury Hall Spartans were crowned HHSAA Division II Boys Basketball Champions, defeating Hawaii Prep 49-33 to secure their first state title in program history. Now, let's go to a post-game interview with the senior standout, Bromo Dorn.
It feels amazing, man. I mean, for Seabury's first championship, I had to get it done, you know. Love my teammates, love my coaches, just feels amazing. Me, Sebastian, Kiai, we've been playing with each other since we were like 4th, 5th grade, real young, you know, and we've been friends ever since we came to Seabury. It just feels amazing to win with this group, mostly taking it so far last year and falling short. As a group, coming back this year, we had so much fire and just had to get it done. First, I want to shout out the whole island of Maui, man. I mean, Maui has hoopers too, you know, and I want to shout out my parents and shout out my barber, H1 Blends, yeah? And shout out all my day ones. Hey, and shout out Bryson DeSaki on the bench. He gives me water every game, for sure.
In the Division I semifinals, it was an ILH showdown between two familiar foes, Punahou and University Lab, meeting for the fourth time this season. Punahou had taken two of the first three matchups in the series and earned their spot in the semifinals with wins over Moanalua and Kamehameha Hawaii. Meanwhile, University Lab battled past Kamehameha Maui and Kailua to set up the highly anticipated rematch. From the opening tip, it was a back-and-forth battle with neither team able to create separation. Punahou senior guard Tate Takamiya led the charge, finishing with 16 points, hitting tough shot after tough shot to keep the Buff and Blue in control. For University, their dynamic frontcourt duo of Alika Ahu, game-high 19 points, and Trey Ambrosic, 12 points, kept the junior Bulls within striking distance. At halftime, Punahou clung to a 24-23 lead, and in the second half, they did just enough to hold on. Sophomore sensation Zion White made key plays, while senior Dash Watanabe delivered timely buckets to keep the Buff and Blue in front. With under a minute to go, Ahu came up with a steal and score, cutting the deficit to just one. Houston Hosoda calmly knocked down two clutch free throws, extending Punahou's lead to 3. With seconds left, Ahu had a chance to spend it to overtime, but his potential game-time 3 missed the mark. Punahou survived the thriller, edging University Lab 49-46 to punch their ticket to a second straight state championship game.
In the second Division I semifinal, top-seeded St. Louis faced the red-hot Kahuku squad, looking to pull off the upset and crash the state championship stage. St. Louis has been the gold standard in Hawaii high school basketball, chasing their 4th consecutive state title under head coach Dan Hale. The Crusaders dominated the ILH, finishing a perfect 13-0 and went undefeated against Hawaii opponents all season. On the other side, Kahuku entered with serious momentum, winning 4 straight, including upset victories over Mililani and Baldwin, to earn their shot at the defending champs. And from the jump, Kahuku looked every bit the part of a giant slayer. The Red Raiders rode their defensive intensity and balanced scoring to take a 17-13 halftime lead, behind contributions from Benson Gu, 8 points, Cassius Staley, 7 points, and Ronan Naihe, 7 points. After a low-scoring third quarter, Kahuku still clung to a 24-20 lead, but St. Louis wasn't about to go down without a fight. Just as they done all season and under Dan Hale's championship pedigree, the Crusaders turned it on when it mattered most. Star forward Pupu Sepulona took over inside, finishing with 16 points and 5 rebounds, while Kalen Fernando added 8 points. But it was point guard Shansi Muguelto who steadied the ship, controlling the tempo and guiding St. Louis down the stretch. In the final minutes, the 3-time defending state champs showed why they owned the crown, rallying to complete the comeback with a 38-31 victory. With the win, St. Louis advanced to the state title game against Punahou, looking to capture their 4th state championship and further cement their dynasty.
The Division I state championship featured an ILH showdown and a rematch of last year's title game, as Punahou and St. Louis clashed once again for the crown. St. Louis had dominated the season series, winning all 3 prior matchups, while Punahou looked to break through and capture the 12th state title, and their first since 2018. On the other side, the Crusaders aimed to extend their dynasty, chasing a 4th consecutive state championship and a 10th in program history. From the opening tip, St. Louis flexed its championship experience, jumping out to an 11-4 first quarter lead, led by senior guard Kalen Fernando, who finished with a team-high 11 points. But in the second quarter, Punahou fought back. Sophomore forward Zion White played a pivotal role locking down Crusaders star Pupu Sepulona while adding 9 points offensively. At halftime, St. Louis held a 22-16 lead. The third quarter marked a momentum shift. Junior guard Dane Kellner came alive, making timely plays and finishing with a season-high 13 points. His offensive rebound tip out to Ethan Chung for a 3 gave Punahou their first lead of the game, and from that point on, they never trailed. Senior guard Dash Watanabe also made his presence felt, attacking the basket and finishing with 9 points. Heading into the fourth quarter, Punahou clung to a 32-28 lead, but St. Louis wasn't going away. Forwards Pupu Sepulona and Keanu Meckham delivered clutch baskets to keep the Crusaders within striking distance. Then, with under a minute to go, St. Louis forced a turnover on an inbound, leading to a Shanson Wubuelto layup to tie the game. But Zion White had the answer. On the next possession, he sprinted down the court for a fast break layup to put Punahou back in front. A last-second desperation 3 from St. Louis fell short, and when the buzzer sounded, Punahou had dethroned the Crusaders, 43-40, winning a record 12th state championship and their first since 2018. With the victory, Punahou ended St. Louis's four-peat hopes and reclaimed their place atop Hawaii high school basketball. Now let's go to a post-game interview with one of the key contributors, Senior Watanabe.
So coming in, Coach Darren told us that the better team's gonna win. So they play so well together. They got so much experience. So we knew that we just had to come together as a team and just play together. And if we use each other, we knew we were gonna win. We switched to a 2-3 defense, and then we just locked down. That's what I was emphasizing the most, was just locking down and staying together. We came together to play defense, and that's what wins championships. Defense wins championships. I've been on this team for 4 years, and to finish my year with a win, with a state championship, it feels so amazing. It's so unreal. I just like to shout out my family. I love them so much, and without them, I wouldn't really be here. So I'd like to thank them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mahalo for tuning in for our recap of the boys basketball state tournament. We also want to shout out the Moanalua girls wrestling team for winning their 4th consecutive state championship, and Kamehameha Kapalama's boys wrestling team for winning back-to-back state championships.
Mahalo to Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union, Young Brothers, Hawaii Pacific Health, Hardware Hawaii, Hawaii Building and Construction Trade Council, and City Mill for sponsoring our humble show.
We'll be back in the spring for more recaps of Hawaii high school state tournaments. Until then, a hui ho.